Olá, sejam bem-vindos ao Minuto Lean by Lean Everywhere, ao nosso planeta Lean pelo mundo. Hoje temos mais uma presença ilustre aqui, um grande amigo e um especialista. Eu levo para você aí, Milton. Por favor, introduza o nosso convidado e vamos em frente.
Hi, Kiwi. Thanks for joining us in our conversation about Lean. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. First, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself to our audience, and then we can start, okay?
No problem. Okay, good day, everybody. My name is Kyo Achille Molwabi. I'm known as Kiwi in the Ford world. I've been at Ford for over 11 years now. Started my career in the body shop, then moved to STA resident. And after STA resident, I joined what was then called the Lean Supply Optimization team. I've been with the Lean team since then, but currently I have a dual role where I'm also a site engineer in helping with the launch of the P703, which is happening currently in South Africa.
Okay, thank you. And in terms of Lean, we would like to hear about you, some experience that you have faced in Ford or in the suppliers in South Africa that you may share with us. Can you say something about that to us?
Yeah, I can do that. I will start firstly with my experience in the body shop. So at that time, we were experiencing a high number of rejects in the floor underbody floor area. Also, there was I would say a lot of operators in the area, but you're not getting out the correct output that we're looking for. So the one project I worked with was the optimizing and automating of the underbody area. So robots were added, streamlining of the process was made better, and obviously there was a reduction in manning because now you're adding and you're making the process much more automated. But it's not like you are taking out people and not putting them to use elsewhere. There were other areas of the facility that were struggling, so now you man those areas with the people you've reduced. But I mean, some years ago, but I think we improved that area by at least 30% in terms of the output that was originally there versus what was coming out when it was automated. And as the people got used to working with the robots in there, because obviously the loading is still people, the welding of the parts was automated. So as the people improved in the loading and offloading, that 30% grew in terms of the improvement. So became lean in one area and optimized it as well. That's one aspect of the body shop that I worked in. But again, lean is not only about the business or the company that you work in. As a person, you can become lean in your private life. Take the learnings that you have in your corporate world, or if you've gone through a university or a technical college, you can use those same principles in your everyday life. Using the shortest route to work as something very simple, or optimizing the way you are stacking your fridge, how you cook your food. There's so many things that you can use to just make lean, and the more you use those principles, the better the more optimized the way you start living.
Exactly.
Sounds good. And Kiwi, when you talk about in your experience in body shop, you just talk about two important things. One is quality, and other one is to optimize the manpower. When you look beyond lean manufacturing, and you say in your personal life, which is good, but when you look for medical area, can you tell us if you, in your mind, it is possible to implement some ideas in a, like in a hospital for looking for the manpower or looking for the quality and at the medical area. What do you think? And if you have
Okay.
any experience in South Africa to share with us.
So I don't have a personal experience, but from what I've seen, especially going to our government hospitals, people take very long hours in queues. Number one, to see the doctor or even see a nurse. Secondly, when they have to collect their medication. So I feel like there's a way that they can streamline the process in a sense that um, the people who are coming there for a minor thing, someone who's got a headache, a toothache, or has fluid symptoms, if you can streamline a particular aisle for where you can get a doctor that can quickly check the normal disease, something that's very, very mild, like I said, like a flu, someone who's coming in with a mild cough, then okay, you go into this direction, headaches this direction, something that you can streamline that's very easy. Unlike when somebody's coming for an emergency, that's something completely different. But the mild symptoms, streamline that so you don't have 100 people with a mixture of very mild symptoms to very, I would say, dangerous symptoms, all sitting in one area, so that you can focus on getting out the people who have the mild symptoms into the hospital quickly out. And then you can also now keep focus on the heavier injuries in a different area of the hospital. What I've seen in South African government hospitals, especially, everybody's sitting in the same room. It doesn't matter what kind of injury you have, it doesn't matter what kind of sickness you have. So you now all wait in a queue where somebody who's got something very mild can come in and come out, so that you don't have a room full of people that are all sick, but there is no streamline in getting them in and out quickly. The person who's here for something that could have taken 15 minutes now sits for 3 hours, 4 hours because they're in a queue. And somebody who's here has got a serious injury, also is sitting there for a long time, and possibly could be more detrimental for them sitting in that room. Whereas you could just streamline other people with the mild symptoms, one direction, move out in this way. And you can actually just have a dispensary that, okay, for flu medication, this is what you take, this is for short time, just by having that interaction with the person telling you them what their symptoms are. I mean, as a doctor, that's as a person, as a patient who goes to a doctor, you tell them what you're feeling and then they give you the medication. So why not make it easy by just having a row or a couple of aisles meant for the quick um, diagnosis versus someone who's got something much more heavier that requires more attention from a doctor or a specialist.
Yeah, exactly. Here in Brazil, we are in the beginning of the implementation of the lean healthcare. In the south area is already widespread, but here in northwest area, we are still in the beginning of the implementation of lean. How is the implementation of lean healthcare in South Africa? Is there some initiative about that, or still in the beginning too? You didn't hear about that?
Uh, I'll be honest, I haven't heard about any lean initiative. And what's saddening is that our country has grown so much since its independence, like in 1994. Um, but you haven't heard. So that's almost 30 years ago. Yeah, about just over 30 years ago, where um, the country has grown so much, almost double. But you haven't heard of a single new hospital, public hospital, that has been built to be able to service the communities. I mean, I go to a township just not far from here,
Yeah.
which has grown tremendously, and they still have just one hospital. When you go into that hospital, it's a sad state of affairs. So, yeah, I honestly haven't heard of any lean initiatives with the current hospitals, or what the plan is going forward in building new hospitals in this country. And that's just the sad state of affairs. We are growing as a country in terms of numbers of people, but in terms of facilities and trying to improve those facilities, it's not going in the same direction. There were talks of trying to find or establish a medical aid that is cheaper for people in the township areas and the rural areas. But that in itself does not help anybody if you don't have the actual facilities. um, New hospitals built in a lean way, trying to make it easier for people. It's pointless giving people a cheaper medical aid so they can go to hospitals, but then you're going to get to the hospital and it's very full, and you get turned away, or do you want to find another one elsewhere? So I guess it's something that one can start thinking about and start researching. Maybe there is in the country, but like I have not heard of any lean initiatives, lean healthcare processes in our country.